Long-term financial goals can sometimes seem so big that they feel almost unattainable, especially when you are just getting started out on a road to financial independence. Many people like me, in the financially independent community, found it helpful to break down the goal of becoming financially independent into smaller and more manageable stages. Not only because it makes it easier for us to track our progress, which in turn helps us to stay motivated, but also because it helps us get over that initial hurdle of starting to chip away at this mountain of a task. In today's video, I'm going to take you through what I consider to be the 10 stages of financial independence, as well as give you an example on how to go from the first stage to the final stage. Welcome to the Money Smart Investor, a channel where you can learn about investing, debt, retirement, and many other general financial tips. So if any of those topics sound interesting to you, or if you want to learn how to better handle your money and have more financial freedom, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Now let's get started. Okay, so real quick, the 10 stages of financial independence are: Stage 0, Financial Dependence. Stage 1, Financial Solvency. Stage 2, Financial Stability. Stage 3, Debt Freedom. Stage 4, Coasting Financial Independence, also sometimes known as freedom from employer. We also have Stage 5, Financial Security. Stage 6, Financial Flexibility. Stage 7, Financial Independence. Stage 8, Financial Freedom, and finally Stage 9, Financial Abundance. The stages are usually defined as something like the following. Stage 0, Financial Dependency, is when your debt payments and other living expenses are greater than your own income. This means that you are in one way or another dependent on someone or something else to help you pay for your bills, or if you are a kid and don't actually have any bills. This is the level that all of us start out on, and it is referred to as Stage 0, because as a financial dependent you obviously have no financial independence. Stage 1, Financial Solvency, is when you are current on all your debt payments and you can meet your financial commitments and your other living expenses without any outside help. Stage 1, Financial Stability, is usually defined as when you have built some sort of emergency fund, in addition to being financially solvent. Stage 2, is again Debt Freedom, and it's defined differently depending on who you ask. For some, it is being completely debt-free, mortgage and everything. For others, it's being just free of the high-interest debts like credit cards, but you still might have a mortgage or other debts like student loans. And for some others, it is paying off all of your debts except for the mortgage, but your credit cards and student loans or car loans, all that stuff is all paid off. Stage 3, Coasting Financial Independence, also sometimes known as freedom from the employer. I personally like the idea of it being coasting financial independence, so that's what I'm going to be using in this video. But know that some people refer to it by one of those other titles, but the idea is the same. You have reached the level of coasting financial independence when you can step down from a job that may be higher paying, but may also be either less satisfying or more stressful, into a new job that is lower paying but more enjoyable or less stressful. This is because in the early years of your career you have managed to save a very decent sum of money that would be able to provide for the later years of your retirement. Therefore, all you need to do is make enough money to get you to age 60 or 65 or 70 or whatever your numbers work out to be, when that amount of money you've already invested will be able to fund your lifestyle, because it's been given enough time to grow. So in a sense, you've worked really hard and been very frugal in the first few years so that you can coast into your retirement. I have gone into more detail on the various types of financial independence in previous videos, which you can find by subscribing to our channel. Moving on to Stage 5, Financial Security, is effectively when your cash flow from wealth, such as your investments, has grown to large enough that it can provide for your annual basic survival expenses. Now I say survival expenses because I do differentiate that from living expenses. Survival expenses are just the basic things you need to survive, like food, water, shelter, some form of transportation, clothing, and probably insurance. This does not include things like Netflix subscriptions or cable bills or things like that. So this may not be exactly the ideal spot to retire, and I certainly wouldn't want to retire at this point, but it is an important level to keep in mind because it does give you some sort of security. If you were to get fired today and you were on Stage 5, you would be okay, you could survive until you found another job. This is essentially the first level that really gives you that peace of mind, even if the lifestyle you have chosen to live may not be the most lavish. Stage 6, financial flexibility, is similar to financial security, just one step up. It is when you have the ability to live off of your current cash flow from your wealth, assuming that you have a flexible spending plan that adjusts for up and downs in the market. So if the market's up 20% one year, you're able to spend a little bit more, but if the market is down 20% the next year, then you don't spend quite as much. I've seen it defined many different ways, so it could vary depending on who you ask, but the one that I personally like the most is that it is roughly half of your full financial independence goal, or roughly about 12.5 times your current annual expenses if you follow the 4% rule to get an idea of how much money you need to retire, like I've explained in previous videos. So it isn't quite financial independence yet, but it's close. Stage 7 is financial independence, and it's usually based on the 4% rule, which I have covered in a previous video. You can follow the 4% rule when you have saved roughly 25 times your annual expenses. The vast majority of the time this will be enough money to allow you to maintain your current lifestyle in retirement, and as a result, you can be considered financially independent. Now some articles end it right there, but I think there are a couple of stages that are a bit higher than that. These are worth considering, even if some of us may decide to not ever try to achieve them, because being at stage 7 allows people to do what they wanted all along. So let's talk about those other stages. Stage 8 is financial freedom, which I've often seen defined as the cash flow from your investments as greater than financial independence and a few more life goals. Life goals, of course, will differ for everybody, but could be something like taking a trip or two overseas, or moving to a new place you've always wanted to live, but haven't had quite enough money. Like I said, it's different for everybody. Stage 9 is financial abundance, and this is quite simply just that the cash flow from your investments is more than you will ever need. You could spend it if you really wanted to, but it would actually take some effort. And the stuff from stage 8 doesn't really cut into it much at all. So you could up those goals even more and still have more cash flow left over at the end of the year. This also probably has a slightly different definition for each person depending on who you ask, but I like to think of it as roughly 3 times your financial freedom number. To me, that means probably more than you will ever need, but again, that's just my own opinion on the matter. So those are the 10 stages of financial independence. Do any of you use a similar system to track your progress? If so, what is it, and what level, step, or stage are you guys currently on? Let me know in the comments section below. Once again, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell, so that you'll be notified of all our future uploads. In our next video we will be walking you through a hypothetical example of how someone can go from stage 0 to being financially independent. So make sure you stay tuned for that.